Hi, I'm Rebecca, and welcome to my sewing room. Welcome back if you've been here before, and welcome if you're here for the first time. Thank you for coming. Today I'm not making a pattern, not a manufactured pattern. I am making it a not original pattern at all. My daughter found a picture of a tank top, a baby girl tank top, not a baby girl, a baby doll tank top that she really liked and asked if I could make it. And then when we went to the store, I figured I probably have the skills to make the shirt that she wants, but hey, go ahead and check out those patterns and see if the one you want or one really similar to the one you want is in there, and I can either look at it and get it or just look at it and figure it out with a little bit of tips from just looking at the directions. However, she did not find a pattern that she liked. So it was now down to me to design the tank top she wanted. I have made a rough sketch of what she wanted. I say rough because I am really bad at drawing. So here is the tank top, as it would be a baby doll shirt. The bottom piece is gathered and it's nice and loose up there. And this is the sort of V-neck that she was going for. With picture actually had spaghetti straps, but she wants a little bit wider, about 1 inch straps. So that's what I came up with. She got cotton fabric, which yay for me because I really like to use cotton fabric. However, that adds a little step of what do I do so that she can get it on and off, but she doesn't have to have a zipper or buttons or something like that. So that added a little bit of a change. You'll see what I did as I go through the video and making her actual shirts. I did a mock-up with just a basic white fabric that I had, and I'm using that as pattern pieces. It's rough, but it fits her. I have to add a little bit. I'm adding 2 inches to what I have on there, so not a quarter, a 1/2 inch on both side seams of the front and a 1/2 inch both side seams of the back to give her that extra 2 inches. And I still have not quite figured out how much fabric I need for the front and back of the bottom of the shirt, because I have not figured out that gathering, how much my fabric's gonna shrink for the gathering, how much gathering she wants, like how does she want the bottom of it really full, or does she want it not quite so full and still straighter down like a shirt, or like a regular baby doll shirt that you would find at the store. So I still have to figure that out through the creation process. You'll see what I do as I go. I'm using the fabric as the fabric because here's what I did. I drew all of the bodice pieces out using my tailor's chalk onto the cotton fabric itself. So those are my pattern pieces. I will be using those to make my pattern pieces that extra inch bigger. You'll see how I do it. And the fabric. So she did get just plain cotton fabric. This one is keepsake calico. It's a really nice red, but this is the right side of the fabric with that dot motif, and this is the wrong side. It's also, it has some sort of spandex in there, at least on that grain line, on the selvage to selvage grain line. It has some stretch there. So that'll be actually kind of nice because it'll give a little bit. I'll cut the bodice along that way so that it'll stretch that way for her. I'm also doing a double lined bodice. So that's going to take the stretchiness down. So any bit that I can get is what I would really like that. She wants me to make two. So she got two different fabrics. And she got this really pretty deep purple color. I still obviously have to iron them. I just got them out of the dryer, so they're pre-shrunk. They won't shrink on us. This one does not stretch as much as the red, so I might have to think about adding a little bit of extra space in there, but I probably won't. The other supply that I got to make this dress, these two tank tops, is this real thin elastic. Okay, it's 1/4 inch wide braided elastic. It's to go underneath at the underbust, to go ahead and cinch that in to where that fits so that it's not as big as the bust measurement itself. It'll actually fit like a regular baby doll shirt. So that's what this is for. I'll be making a little casing with the yoke of the tank tops where it meets, where it actually holds on to the skirt part of the top. So that's what I'm going to call it, because it's like a gathered skirt basically. So I did it once with my wrap dress, the faux wrap dress I did. The underbust is elastic, and I made the casing the way that I would plan to do with these shirts. So it'll be nice to practice that skill again, because I do really like the look of it, and it was really easy to feed the elastic through, and all of those seams are finished, so I won't have to worry about those unraveling. I think that's it for right now. I may have forgot something and it'll come up in the sewing process. We'll see. I'm going to go ahead and iron these fabrics. At least the red one, we're going to start with just the red one. That's actually what you will see me make throughout this video, and then at the end I will show you the red and the purple once they're done. But what's the point in seeing the purple if I make it the same way? If I don't, I'll obviously add some video footage to that. So I'm going to iron my fabrics, and then we'll get over to the cutting table to cut out the red tank top. Okay, we are back. These here are my pattern pieces actually, but they're the mock-up as well. This is the front, but this is the inside yoke, or the facing. This one here is the outside. So in order to make it look halfway decent and not like I just threw a couple pieces of scraps together, I needed to do something to give the front a little bit of definition. So I thought that a gathering stitch here in the front and in the middle would be good. And I accidentally didn't make my stitch length the longest stitch length that I have on my machine. That is actually the regular stitch length. But when I went ahead and just gathered it with that, I really liked it. It doesn't bulk up too much, so it doesn't add too much fullness to the top, and it looks really nice. My daughter also liked it. So if you look at this, you may notice these straps won't be here. I'm making separate straps. I just did that so that I knew where they would be. If you notice, this probably is not going to look exactly like the drawing. It is not going to look exactly like the picture that she showed me either, because the picture she showed me, the V-neck was way down here, and she did not like that, and neither did I. So we had to go ahead and lift that neckline up a bit higher, so it was a bit more modest, which is also why I decided to throw some gathers in there and give it a little bit of definition and not look so sloppy. And then I have two pieces here, and this is the back shirt, the front and facing of the back of the tank top. They are the exact same piece. I just have where the straps are gonna go marked on the fabric itself. So I'm just going to cut two of one of these, and then I'll be cutting each of these out of a single layer of fabric. As I said, I have to add a 1/2 inch on to each side of each piece, so that we add 2 inches to the entire top. So you will see me do that as we go. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll just be cutting off the selvage over there, and then I'll be cutting these pieces apart, and that is actually the perfect size for this. Actually, I'm also going to add a 1/2 inch at the bottom to make sure I have enough extra space for casing. So I will draw that in once I get this pinned. I'll do that for all of the bodice pieces. Go ahead and cut this piece out. Alright, we're gonna keep going as my dog barks her head off outside, so if you hear her, I'm sorry. That would be, she likes to bark. So I have it down to one layer now. It's all open up. So we're gonna go ahead and start with this piece. I'm gonna pin it just like I did the other one. I'm going to go a 1/2 inch from this selvage, so that way on that end, all I have to do is cut off the selvage. I actually have this not a straight line. I almost made it a straight line, and then I realized I actually learned something from putting all these garments together with darts and looking at the patterns. And anywhere that there's some gathering or darts, or where you take fabric and put it together and squash it, there's usually some extra left over on the bottom. So somehow on my first try, I just sketched that in, and it ended up working out that it was the right amount of gather, or the right amount of fabric there at the bottom. So that was pretty cool. I doubt I'll get that lucky again, so first timer's luck right there. also going to add my 1/2 inch down at the bottom. And then all of this fits for the most part. I'm going to go ahead and put a pin right here. And a pin right here. Because this is where I'm going to, I'm going to go up a little bit for the seam-alls. But this is where I'm going to stop for the straps. Okay, and we'll just put this down here too. I will be marking the center notches, not notches. I will just be using my tailor's chalk actually, because the gathering has to be on the center, and then the center of this has to be lined up with the gathering in order for this bodice to go together correctly. Cut these two pieces out. Don't have to mark the top of the center because that's a V-neck. I do want to mark with, I'm going to use my ruler to draw a straight line for the gathering stitches on the front. These obviously have the strap placement marked because of how I cut them, but I have to mark the strap placement on both pieces of the back. I got it pretty close, so we'll go with that. Let's get sewing. Now that we're over here, we can start sewing. The first step we need to do is put in that basic straight stitch, the same regular length stitch, but use it as our gathering stitch in the center. And tie a knot in this end because I want to gather from the bottom to make it fit once I get the two, the front and then the facings stitched together. I'll then use it to put these two together and get it fitted to the correct size. Okay, now we're gonna lay this out. Grab one of our back pieces and we have to sew these side seams together. Make sure right sides are together, and you have your strap piece, or where you have your straps marked, to the top. And somehow I still did not get this the same length. I don't know how I did that, but that's okay. I make sure the top is even. And we're gonna make sure we back stitch with these sides, with the side seams. We did not with our gathering. I meant to double check that because it was off when I made my mock-up too the second time for somehow I didn't measure it correctly or something, but that's okay. It really didn't make much of a difference when I put the two together, so I'm really not worried about it. I can always trim the bottom of the long one if I have to. But I may not have to because of the way I'm doing the casing. It might actually help. So we'll set those pieces aside and we'll grab our other two pieces and do the side seams the same way. Oh no. Oh, you know what, that's okay though. I forgot to mark where the straps are on here, but they're marked on the other one, so I think it'll be fine. Reason I'm not using any pins, there's a couple actually, because it's a very, very short seam that I'm sewing right now, and this cotton does not slide almost at all, so I'm not worried about it. Straps, and I'm gonna need to do that after this. go ahead and iron my side seams on both of my pieces. I'm gonna iron them open and flat, and then we'll go cut our straps. Right, look at how nice those side seams are. Time to cut out some straps. So I'm making 2 straps, obviously. I need to cut out 4 layers. So I'm actually going to leave part of the fabric 4 layers thick. And I want my straps, my daughter wants her straps about 1 inch wide. So I actually have to cut the straps 2 inches wide. Also decided I should make that strap 12 inches, but I'm gonna give myself 14 inches just to be sure. Go ahead and cut these 4 layers out. I have a fold here, so I'll have to cut those. Actually, I don't think I'm gonna cut them. I'll just go ahead and sew the sides up from here, to be honest. Got our straps. Now I just went ahead and pressed these edges, the folded edges of the straps, so they're nice and crisp. I am going to go ahead and put a couple pins in the side just to make sure these don't shift, because it's going to be close and I don't want to run out. I don't want to make the straps not wide enough. That just wouldn't be fun. So we'll do a few pins on each side, and then for both of them I will stitch the side seams closed, leaving this side open so then I can go ahead and turn the straps right side out. Next step is to turn these pieces the right way out, and this is probably going to take a bit of time, so I'm going to go ahead and do this and press the straps, and then I'll be back for the next step. Look at how nice and crisp those straps are there. Just a little note. So before I turned this inside out, I cut both seam allowances down to about 1/4 inch. It took out the bulk in the seams, and it also, like, it helps it lay flat, but it also helped me turn it faster because I didn't have so much fabric getting shoved in the tiny little tube. So it was a little bit easier. Okay, so now our next step is to sew our lining, our facing, to the front fabric. And the way we do this, we'll have right sides together, obviously. That's why I turn this right side out, and this one's inside out still. I'm going to match the centers of the front. I'm going to match the side seams. I don't know if I have the center back marked, actually. I don't think I do. I don't. I would have matched the straps, but once I get the center front and the side seams pinned and matched, the back should actually match just fine. So I'm not too worried about that. So let's go ahead and get this stuff pinned. Be dumb to need that. Yeah. Okay, so sorry, ouch, ow, that hurt. Sorry I had to go away for a minute. I had to get this tried onto Mackenzie so that I could measure where my straps needed to be. Turns out I've measured pretty well with the size of the straps I have, because if I just get them in that seam allowance, about 1/2 inch, then the straps are just about right where they need to be. So what you do with the straps is pin them between the 2 layers. This is the strap here. Pin it between the 2 layers up into where it goes, and then it literally wraps around the inside layer, the back inside layer, and it's between the 2 back pieces, and it's pinned into where the strap goes in the back. That way, once I get the seam around the top of this, I can turn the top right side out and the straps will be all sewn in place and you won't see the ends, and it'll be nice and crisp and clean. So let's go ahead and get sewing. I need to use the arm because of the space I have from the straps being in there, making it a little bit tight to get in there. think I want to understitch all of this. And we need to trim our straps now because those are very thick as well. So corners, the strap itself. Now it's nice and small right here. Same thing here. Corners here. There we go. Same thing there. Okay, let's see if we can do this and do a good job. Let's give it a try because I think it'll make the finished product look a lot better if I have some understitching done.
understitched now. Let's go cut some strings.
All right, now I'm at the point where I'm going to cut out my last two pieces for the tank top. I'm gonna cut these pieces off of here though. So the front and the back, because the bodice is, or the front and back pieces of the bodice are different lengths, the front and back piece of the bottom part of the tank top are also going to be different lengths. I did a little bit of experimenting with my, it's not a muslin, but my cheap cotton that I tried to see how much I wanted to gather. And this is just gathered just over 1.5 times of the length itself. So I did some math in my head, and the front piece needs to be 28 inches wide and the back piece needs to be 31 inches wide. Those both include the seam allowance that I need to be able to put the front and the back together. And I already wrote down the measurement for the length from the underbust to the bottom, and that's 10 inches. I'm going to do 11 inches so that I have an inch I can work with for the hem. So let's go ahead and get measuring and cutting. Over 28 inches, and I'm gonna go out from the selvage. And now I'm just gonna connect those lines so that my cuts will hopefully end up straight. And then we'll cut that out, and then we'll cut out the back. And I'm going to mark this as the front so I don't mix it up. I'm cutting off these selvages. I just realized I should be using these because they won't fray. Oh well. Caused more problems for myself, didn't I? Okay, let's head to the sewing machine. Okay, the next step is to gather up the front and the back, and then we will be doing some pressing of the top of the bodice before we attach the bottom to the top.
I'm gonna go ahead and tie one end of both of these, and it's gonna be the same end, so that will help me remember what end is tied. I try to do the same end on all of my stuff, or else I get confused and then I get mad when it won't gather, but it won't gather because that's the end I tied. So take out the frustration if I try and get them all the same side. Okay, so as I'm tying this knot in here, these panels are 1.5 times the width that the shirt is supposed to be. So when I gather them down, they will be that much smaller. So cut this in thirds, and a third will be shrunk down once I'm done. But for now, I'm gonna set these aside. I'm actually gonna leave them right here for now because I have to use the iron. And what I'm going to do is I have to gather this up to where it needs to be, and then I will tie that end and press that. But then I have to press up these little, the raw edges of my tank top here, both the inside and the outside, so that I can sandwich my bodice piece into the top of this and create a casing for the elastic. So I'm going to stop recording while I press, and hopefully I will be back tonight to finish this. I'm not sure. It depends on how long it takes me to press because it's getting close to dinner and I'm gonna have to start cooking too.
Okay, I'm back. I've taken a break for a couple days because I was stumped. I've done a casing, an elastic casing like this before on my faux wrap dress, and I couldn't remember how I did it, and my confidence was already messed up from messing up the project before. So I took a break, and then I actually went back and rewatched that part of my wrap video, and I know how to do this. So the next step in finishing this really nice tank top for my daughter is to sew the panels, the front and back panels, bottom, sew the side seams together at both sides, and then attach that to the top of the bodice. So I will be putting my right sides together, and I have all these gathering strings. It's this side that's tied, it's that other side that's tied. So I need to make sure I keep these ones that I have to use to gather nice and loose out of the side seam stitching. So I have to make sure they're all out of the way. So that's one little thing I have to do. So let's go ahead and get that pinned and sew. Now I'll press those seams real quick. Okay, so the next thing is to pin the bottom to the top.
right sides together. So I'm actually going to shove the top inside here. And to get it gathered to the right size, I need to match my side seams, and then I can gather the front and the back panel separately. iron, and I'll be back. Next step is to make the casing for the elastic. And you're like, how are you gonna do that? Well, if you watched my faux wrap dress video before, you know, and I didn't remember either, so if you don't know, that's okay. I used the seam allowance for the bust part of the dress and then the skirt that came off of it. I used the seam allowance and made a casing out of that. So I'm going to try to do the same thing with this for the elastic, and we will see. And turns out the purple one of this that I was gonna make, because I was gonna make two, might not be on this video. This actually might be the only shirt on this video because she has asked for some changes, and it kind of makes a different tank top. So we will see if this one has just the red or if there's a purple to go along with it or not. All right, let's go ahead and get to work on this. Now we're gonna do this just inside, and I'm gonna have the inside edge, you can barely see it, but the inside edge of my presser foot as my guide for the edge of my fabric. Oops, I had a back stitch a little bit. Oh, my bobbin thread is gone. I cannot. Oh, I'm a dork. I just closed that up. I need to go get my seam ripper so I can open that up and actually get the elastic in there. Oops. Just realized that I didn't record any of that. But the casing is done. The elastic is in there. I just put it on the end of a safety pin, threaded it through. I'm pretty sure I've done that on this channel before. So, now, she tried it on before I put the elastic in, and she likes how it fits her. Thank goodness, because doing my own pattern has stumped me. And I'm glad that she's happy with it, and I'm glad it turned out because it has boosted my confidence. And before I do her next tank top, I'm actually going to do just a shirt from a pattern, a knit top from a pattern that I've done before. That's not too hard. I did screw it up and I had to go back and, you know, seam rip, because that happens in just about every project. But it's an easy one, and I kind of just want to whip through something. So I'll be doing that before I do the purple of this. But the final, this is it for the most part. It looks way better on than it looks just hanging up, and I think that's just because of the style of it. So it'll be nice at the final reveal. Okay, so I will be hemming, and I'm going to do a 1/2 inch rolled hem on the bottom of this, and I will be hand stitching the inside to like the facing part to just below the seam of where I connected the two, and it's going to hide those open seams, and there will be absolutely no raw edges. Oh, that's a lie, except for these side seams. Unfortunately, there will be no other raw edges. I'll just pink those actually real quick before I do anything else, and then it'll be a nice
clean inside and outside of the shirt. So I'll be back with this final project next. So the final product turned out really well. She really, really likes it. Her favorite part, she said, is how short it is. She doesn't like really long shirts, and how short it is and how it kind of blossoms out, or blouses, that's the right word, blouses out. She really likes how that fits. She would, on her next purple one, because obviously the purple one is not in here because it's not done yet. On the purple one, she would like me to do some wider straps to make sure that she can really cover her bra straps. This one we thought would work, but it doesn't quite work. So I need to adjust the top of the bodice part and make some wider straps for the next one. But thank you for watching this video, and if you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button, and if you would like to see more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can also turn on notifications if you click on that little bell icon. Thank you for watching.